Hey guys, AB here from B&H, and welcome to the second video in our multi-part series on recording audio for video. Today, I'm going to go more in depth on choosing the correct type of microphone for your particular video setup. Okay, now it's time to choose the best type of microphone to capture your audio. The three main mic types we're talking about here are lavalier, shotgun, and handheld. And each of those has different polar patterns from which to choose. There are many types of microphone pickup patterns out there, but the main four you'll need to concentrate on are as follows. Omnidirectional. This pattern is spherical in nature, completely surrounding the mic on all sides, and does a good job picking up sound anywhere inside the sphere. Most lavalier mics have pickup patterns like this, and are the preferred choice of microphone when shooting things such as interviews or for actors in a narrative production. In these circumstances, the lav is pinned to clothing with the wire and transmitter hidden. Also, handheld stick mics used for news gathering tend to be omnidirectional, and they have the advantage of picking up less wind noise than some other patterns. This pattern can reduce the need for back and forth movement of the mic, is less prone to plosives, and more forgiving of the subject moving around. This omni pattern may help with issues such as handling noise and clothes rustle. Cardioid. The cardioid pattern is similar to omnidirectional, with the exception that there is no pickup from the back of the microphone. So pointing the mic in the direction of the audio source is very important. Some lavalier and handheld microphones come with this pattern as well. This pattern is suited for noisy locations, but it should also be noted that lavalier mics with cardioid patterns are less forgiving in terms of placement and noise than those with omni patterns. Supercardioid. The supercardioid pattern is arguably the most common type used for narrative filmmaking. Supercardioid is similar to cardioid, but with a much narrower angle of pickup from the front. As a result, any sound outside this angle is rejected much more effectively than that of a cardioid mic. Shotgun mics have this type of pickup pattern, and you'll frequently see them used on boom poles or mounted to cameras. This ensures that the sound you pick up will mostly be coming from your subjects. Hypercardioid. Last is the hypercardioid pickup pattern, which is even narrower than the supercardioid pattern. Also prominently found on shotgun-style microphones, its really narrow pattern helps isolate a subject. These are pretty good at rejecting noise, and they're very useful for capturing quiet moments in noisier environments. Hopefully that gives you a good idea as to the microphone options out there, and you'll be able to choose the types of mics that best suit your needs. When it comes time to shoot, keep in mind that different types of shoots call for different types of mics. In addition, there are different types of microphone pickup patterns, as we mentioned, that exist to capture sound. When it comes to choosing cardioid versus omni, generally speaking, if you want a more directional pattern, you would choose cardioid. If you want a more encompassing pattern, you would choose omni. However, the decision is up to you. Are you shooting a sit-down interview? You'll probably want to use a lavalier mic. Shooting a narrative film? Perhaps a shotgun microphone is your best bet. Deciding whether to use a lav versus a shotgun for a narrative scene is a very personal choice, and we've actually done both. If you want to only capture a person's dialogue, you'd most likely use a lav. If you would like more room ambience, you would use the shotgun. There's no right or wrong answer. The choice is really up to you. Maybe you're interviewing people on the street. A handheld mic is a great solution for that. Also, you'll want to take into consideration how loud your environment is and how reflective nearby surfaces are. When shooting in loud locations, the cardioid pattern is better at rejecting noise, but the trade-off is that it's less forgiving when it comes to things like plosives. Well, we have the mic, and now we need to set it up properly. There are a few simple rules that are essential to recording clean and clear audio, and they are as follows. 1. Placement. Placement of the microphone is key, and you really want to get it as close as possible to your subject without it either being in the shot or being obstructed in any way. This shotgun mic, for example, has a decent pickup range, but it still should be placed just outside of your frame and as close to your subject as possible. The closer it is, the less distance the sound has to travel before it gets to the microphone. Also, since it's a supercardioid mic, it will effectively reject sound coming from anywhere outside the narrow pickup pattern. For a mic like a lavalier, the same holds true, although placement can be a little trickier. Most common lavaliers are omnidirectional and will pick up a tight spherical pattern around a person's head. The closer the mic is to their mouth, the more likely you'll be safely inside that sphere. By the way, in terms of pickup, placement is more forgiving with the omni lavs versus cardioid lavs. When using a boom, and this may seem obvious but it's important, the shadow from the microphone may end up in the background of a scene, or worse, directly on the subject. To prevent this from happening, Your microphone should be arranged near, but just outside the range of, the light source to prevent unwanted shadows. 2. Shock absorption. Something to consider when using a shotgun mic, and all mics for that matter, is their sensitivity to touch and movement. Microphones need to be kept clear of anything that could brush up against them or bump them during recording. This holds especially true for shotgun mics that are mounted on mobile boom poles, and mini shotguns placed on top of cameras. Most on-camera microphones already come with built-in shock absorption, but for larger shotgun mics, you'll need to make sure you have a shock mount that cradles the mic. This will prevent any kind of shock waves from traveling through the boom pole directly into the microphone. 3. Windscreens. In the event you're shooting something outdoors, it is imperative that your microphone have a protective cover to ward off unwanted wind noise. There's nothing worse than recording something only to find out later that it's replete with bad audio as a result of a strong breeze, and a good windscreen will enable you to prevent that scenario. Not surprisingly, a windscreen can also help with heavy breathing. Using a lavalier close to a person's mouth, for example, it's best to leave a windscreen on to shield the capsule of the mic from unwanted air and plosives. When choosing the best mic to use for your video, make sure you take the time to assess your needs, which will enable you to make a choice tailored to your specific recording application and environment. Join us for our third video in the series, where we'll cover how to set proper audio recording levels for your shoot. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.